Can't believe we have to sit here and just have an absolute glaze off for the Maroons. They were absolutely incredible last night, 24-12 victors over the Blues, and yeah, they smashed them, basically. A late try for Brian To'o, who was incredible again, 266 metres. I think Edwards was 270 odd, but this is a team that just plays together, and the effort, the energy, all of these things is just incredible. We will go through the holds and the sells following my little Origin reaction, guys. Just be aware of that. Now, so many different storylines as well for this team, and I do want to shout out my boy Tommy Dearden. So glad to have him as a Cowboy. He does. Yeah, we always had the things of some players. They seem to just play better in Origin than what they do in Clubland. But I think Dearden, the last year and a half, potentially the last 2 full seasons, he's just taken another leap, and it was the correct decision to remove DCE from this side and bring in Dearden, because he's been spectacular. Yeah, the attack's there, but it's the defense that does it for me. And what he just, he is Queensland spirit. He is the Maroons there, and just how he shows his class, his energy, and everything that goes with it. So very, very, very impressive was Tommy Dearden. Munster to get through this game, to get through this week with what's happened to him. It's great to see all the post-game stuff. So hard as a New South Wales fan to sit here and just talk up the Maroons so much, but what you are witnessing, and what I've witnessed my whole life, unfortunately, I don't know, what have I watched, 20 series? We've probably won like 5 out of 20 or something. So we're just watching greatness, and they just do it in different ways. The previous teams, they had all of the immortals, and it's just like, wow, this team's way too good. And then they just still carry it over to the new crop of players. Yes, individually, the Blues might have a more talented side. And one of the guys in the group last night mentioned, the New South Wales players, they all play better for their club teams than they do in their Origin performances. And you see there with the Maroons, a lot of them, you get better performances out of them in Origin. The Kurt Capewells, these types of players especially, and whoever they bring in, they just absolutely do a job. Even guys like Rob Toya, you come in as a youngster, hasn't played many games of club footy, and he's spectacular in all 3 games. He holds his own. He had to mark up on Latrell, and I think he did a great job overall. So he's going to be there for a long time. You had Shibasaki with a couple of missed tackles early, but then he was awesome. Running the footy. He seemed to have some decent post-contact meters as well. Got that, offloaded that ball for that try on that left edge for Xavier Coates in the early part of that game. So he was awesome, and just everyone they bring in just does a job. You see there, Papali'i, just the 23 minutes for him, a 15-minute stint to start, and then ended up coming on for a few minutes later on in the game. But he was spectacular. I thought Tino was much improved. It seems like he's getting away from that sternum injury and what he said is starting to feel a bit better. You could see that last night. It was a much better performance from him, which we hadn't seen for probably the last month, and even both Origins, he was kind of just okay. And this was a much better performance from him. Guys like Val Holmes, they just continue to do good work. Hammer was in the right spots. And then, Cotter just does this thing. Capewell was awesome again. Like, got Trent Liero playing 65 minutes and Carrigan just 34. So that's really turned around, hasn't it? And that number there, the 34 minutes for Paddy, just helps us. If anyone is looking at him from a fantasy perspective, the minutes there, it's a good number for you to potentially buy this week if that's where you're looking. The rest of the Queensland side is not a clear side that you want to target for fantasy, whereas the Blues, it's a bit of a different story. Now, Maxi King only got the 22 minutes, but not fantasy relevant for us. We have Connor Watson, who did play 27 minutes with Reece Robson playing the 53. I think the 27 for Connor means he should get at least 60 plus minutes for the Roosters in their backup game. I am a little bit concerned for a few of their guys. Isaiah Yeo being one of them, full 80 minutes in this one, and we haven't seen that in a long time for Isaiah Yeo to play the full 80. Now, for him and Angus Crichton to go the full 80 in forwards, as forwards I should say, to go near near 100 meters gained, and then tackle numbers were very high there as well. 49 for Isaiah, 33 for Angus Crichton. They had to put in a lot of work, and I think Crichton plays earlier than Isaiah, so that's the slight worry for Angus. Cheaper, yes. Do we want to buy these two now? And Isaiah Yeo got named on the extended bench, so does he actually play? And if he does, I actually expect him to play about 50 minutes, which, is this a good week to buy him? My question now is, do you buy Isaiah, or do you go for like a Jacob Preston and like Katoa, these types of guys? Isaiah will likely score better overall, but if he's not available this week, I need to get to mid or edges. How do we play that one? That's going to be the question. So both him, Isaiah, and Angus Crichton will both be buys. It's just the question being, will it be this week? Now, Cleary, will he back up? It's going to be the question as well. Latrell has the rest this week, so that's fine. Dylan Edwards, a full 80 minutes with 272 run meters. Does he come back into this Panthers side this week and do well straight away? Some people are looking at him as a bit of a cut price option at wing fullback. If you need another one of those guys, then sweet. I personally think paying up for Latrell at fullback will be the correct play. Spending that extra, 150 or 200k to get that will be cool. So, yeah, we surprisingly got through all three origins with no injuries, I don't think, which is very, very good. And yeah, just going to be a worry about those guys there. And then Payne Haas playing the 63 minutes shows he's just a freak. Obviously, 71 fantasy points, 128 run meters, plenty of offloads, plenty of tackles there as well. So will he back up with that 63 minutes there? I definitely expect Carrigan to, but will Payne play 50 minutes? Will he get through it or not? That's going to be the question. But I'm doing this, midday on the Thursday. We still don't have any information on who might be backing up or anything like that. We may get a little bit more later tonight, but we had to get this video out. So there you go. Now, looking at who's not hot this week for the holds and the sells, we've got Jazz Savunga, Metcalf, Tapine, Ponga, King Tonga, and Couchman all over the 1%. And then there's a few other decisions that people will need to make on certain guys. And a lot of people aren't clear sells, but people are looking to make upgrades at this time of the year, and that's where these types of players become relevant as potential sells. Now, when you're looking at someone like Tapine, you're like, well, overall, he's going to be a mid-50s scorer most likely, and he's not really the guy to sell. If you're sitting there with one trade left, making those types of moves can be pretty difficult because they are guys that generally are going to score well. And like if you're making an upgrade from him to an Isaiah Yeo or something like that, there is about a 5-point upgrade. And after Tapine gets his rest, he's probably going to come out and score a lot better. He's losing cash at the moment, so there's different questions like that for Taps. It's just going to be for you, if you have sort of 4 or 5, 6 trades, then it's a lot easier to make that type of upgrade. You get the scorer this week, and then you get the improvement as well. But the worry with guys like Isaiah, if you're buying him, is he actually going to play decent minutes this week? Now, Fletcher Hunt, 232k, I didn't forget to mention him in the buys video, guys. He looks like he'll get this fullback slot for the rest of the year now. And he's had a few okay games there, especially the fullback game. He had 5 tackle breaks, still had 2 errors. He had no attacking stats in that one. And then he did have the try and the try assist in the winger game in round 14. Whereas the 3 games before that, 12, 15, and 13. So not very good there. But at fullback, I'm expecting about a 30 average for him, which priced at 232. If you need a cash down, that could help you in certain weeks. Maybe to have a slightly easier matchup at some point. When we get to Cowboys there, generally the Knights draw is pretty tough, to be fair. Now, in terms of the holds and the sells now, Jazz Savunga at 525k, he's slowed up the last 3 weeks there. Had the head knock game for 31, then he's had 36 and 33. Seems to just not score as well when he starts at hooker and does play a few minutes in the middle at the end, but we've seen his meters gain drop dramatically in that previous 3 weeks, whereas before we were getting 100 plus in 5 out of the 7 previous games, and that's when he was scoring well. So for now, this is a very, very easy decision with him being a mid-range price at 525k. Very unlikely to score a 46, 47 plus type of average. So in that scenario, you easily can sell him. If you're looking at getting a secondary hooker, then that's where Connor Watson as the upgrade works well. You get the scorer this week and you get an upgraded player that can hit you somewhere in the mid-50s. So Jazz Savanga, a very easy sell this week, and it's probably the way I will go. So we did speak about Tapine for a bit. The worry with him has been the minutes in recent history: 43, 50, 48, 53, and 29. And just has that one really good game where he got the try saver, a couple of turnover tackles, and the try to get that 69. And before that, it had been 5 weeks before he'd got a 55. Still averaging 57.3 because of how well he played at the beginning of the year. Minutes for him, he's getting 60s, 57, 56, 50 plus a lot of the weeks, and that was very helpful. But the thing is with the Raiders is they've got this far and they've only had the one bye, so when they're at the top of the table as well, they don't need to play him for extended minutes. And even on return, like they've got Parramatta, they've got Newcastle, they've got Dragons and Manly. None of those teams are very, very difficult, and therefore there may be games still where he does play lesser minutes, and then he does have one more bye to come after that. So there's 2 byes in the next 9 weeks, which it shouldn't hamper you, that bye later on, but it's just another added reason why you can move him on and be okay. The break even's still not actually it would be crazy high. That's still updated for round 17 on footy statistics, so I can't believe he's still got 37, 37 and 29. So for him at this price point, he's priced at 50 now, and his last 5 games actually give him basically a 50 average. So the break even is not going to be crazy. I think that you can move him on if you want, but holding, I think generally he'll get a 50 plus average, and he's priced at 50. So holding's fine too. Some may not have a choice, and that's fine as well. King Tonga at 379k. The price point is 28 now, and if you want to, I'm seeing a few people sell him this week, and it makes sense. Is it a price where it helps you? If you upgrade him and you're spending 300k, does that hurt you in next week? It's something in my situation with Jazz, with Tapine, with King Tonga. Do I sell Tapine and Jazz Savanga just to keep the amount of cash in the bank? I need to get Payne Haas back. I'm looking at Latrell next week. I'm looking at like a Yo and a Watson this week. So if you sell King Tonga at the moment, does it hinder your chances to get up to one of those big dogs? Maybe. But generally, he's a very, very clear sell. We've got a lot of halves in our team, and we don't need any more. So happy to move him on. Don't replace him for another cheapy half, I don't think. If you're going to go down, is it the week to go down? Might not be. But there are, Fletcher Hunts, there's Talon De Silva, those type of guys that you can go down to, but it doesn't fill me with too much excitement. Jackson Purdue, the poor fella, he's gone down to 406k, and it's still an okay enough price to move on from. I'm not expecting him to continue to score well for the rest of the year, unfortunately. 27 on the weekend with a runaway try and a line break assist as well. To have 3 tackle breaks. The errors have kind of crept into his game over the last 6 weeks, where before he wasn't doing that. So a youngster in his first full year of first grade probably makes sense as they tire out. But an easy guy to move on this week is Jackson Purdue at 406k. I'd probably sell him before King Tonga, unless you need that centre coverage. Now, Ewan Aiken at 628k. It does seem like we may see him at centre a little bit more regularly than we want. So in that case, he's priced at 47, which usually is a buy. It's in buy territory for him, which is where we kind of got him back here. Before that 60 was the week I bought him. I think at 650 or 621 or whatever it was. And since then, he unfortunately hasn't been able to score well, and he's had a couple of games at centre there. Did have a rest in one game as well. So if he is going to be at centre somewhat regularly, then that would be frustrating. And I understand him being a sell as well. He ended up leaving my side last week. So I suggest that you can do the same in yours, just because we are looking to get the Eli Katoas, the Prestons in edge. You've got Dylan Lucas that can cover. You want to get Isaiah Yo. You want to get Payne Haas back. You've got Terrell May, you've got AFBs, you've got all these types of guys. So Aiken just fits below that tier. Sam Smith at 437. He's in a spot here where he's out of the side now, so very, very clear sell. And doesn't look like, unless an injury comes, that he'll be back into that side. So you can move him on. It's not like a clear must this week, but given he's not playing. But yeah, a good price point to move on from. Riley Smith with Talon De Silva over there now. I think, I actually don't know how it's going to look. You've got Joey Lussick, who seems to be the starter now, and he was when Riley was still fit and playing. And then you've got Talon De Silva as well. So it's 3 guys to fit into 2 spots. And for Riley at 550k, I doubt he's going to get the big minutes now. So just sell. Garrick, 598k for him. He's actually got a 5-round average of like 49. I was giving Mitch crap. He's saying he's a dud. Look at these last 4 games there. 44, 48, 63, 48, and then the 5th game of 54. Yes, he's scoring tries, but that's what happens when you move to the wing, right? Kicking goals, not that he is kicking them well, but in a situation, yes, he has the bye, yes, it's into Melbourne, Canterbury, Roosters and Canberra. That is more the reason to sell. The last 4 games aren't too bad there for them. Tigers, Dolphins, Dragons. At 600k, he's a little bit below the top tier guns list, and we know at centre he gets more tackles, which is great, and just helps him with a bit of that base. But he does score more tries on the wing as well. So he's a little bit below the top tier guns. Can easily be sold because of that. If you're looking to get the trail, if you want Carraz, these types of guys there. JC, there's a heap of those players. I understand the sell, but it does feel like a bit of a luxury sell, and it's not something that I'm personally looking at this week. Tom Starling, he's done a job for you guys now. Unfortunately, the lowest score, I think, just to finish it off. Yeah, 36 when you needed him. But 350s before that, 42, and then 2 mid-50s as well. Like, he's okay to hold, but I think that in a situation where you can get close to 10 points of extra from guys like Watson that are 70k above, I think that is helpful. He does have 2 buys remaining. So Starling at 590 is an easy guy that you can sell. Horsburgh 656. He is actually scoring really well since moving to lock, and then did move up to prop on the weekend. But you can see that the last 4 games, 57, 48, 69, and 57. So he's on the up and doing great. He dropped a little bit of cash and then has moved back up into a really good territory there with a somewhat low break even. I think he's an easy one that you can hold. The only problem here is that he misses this week, and you might need or want to use him to get to another mid. But otherwise, generally an easy hold. Josh Curran, he's the definite sell here. He's gone 42, 40, and 32. Got a lot of their players back, and then his scores have slowed down. So that was expected, and that's all I have to say on Curran. Tales Duncan. A few people have asked this question. So he's priced at 50 now. Do we expect him, if he actually stays at second row, to average over 50? Yes. So I personally think he's a hold right now. If things change over the next few weeks, then great, but he has a low break even still. He's got more money to make, and then if it changes and he starts hitting 40s again, then you can sell him at that point. But for now, I think that he could easily be a hold for the rest of the year with the dual position and is still making money. Hosking, similar situation for him. He's priced at 45 though, but with the same or similar low break even, which is good. After making some good cash, I forget these are updated to around 17, so the break evens aren't correct. But anyway, him and Duncan still have generally low break evens after doing well. This may change for Hosking when Hudson Young is back and they go left a lot more. But hopefully he's found a bit of a groove, because 71 and 65 with that early 40s tackles, if he can keep those tackle numbers, then I think he's going to be fine. There will be games there where he's in the 70s run meters and stuff like that, and we can cop that if he's getting the early 40s tackles. So Hosking a very clear hold right now, in my opinion. Jack Bird, this is a frustrating one. He's now on the bench, so for him, if you are frustrated with that situation, if you want to upgrade him, then I think that that's a very easy play to do. Super annoying that he's not in the starting side now. We know that he's very, very poor off the bench at the moment. 8 in 32 minutes, 23, blah, blah, blah. All not very good stats there. Now, Burbo, 500k for him. Did his job in weeks where he kind of there's some weeks there where he did really well, 57, a 73, a 62, but he also has a lot of scores in the 20s and 30s. So a very easy sell this week. He's not really going to help you too much down the road and is too inconsistent to confidently play him. Now, Hugo Savala, it's still a little bit early to potentially sell him. Just with his base stats, they've been so great. On the weekend, picked up a try assist and a try. But yeah, tackle numbers were 18 this week, but in games where the other team has the footy a bit more, then he's going to get near the 30 tackles, 45 in one of them. So yeah, that could easily still happen. Kick meters will probably drop a bit with Walker. Run meters should stay fairly similar in the 40s, 50s type range. And he probably ends up being like a low 40s guy compared to the superstar gun that he has been over the last 6 weeks there and making us so much cabbage. But yeah, with Walker back, it does change things. But hey, Walker did get injured, so as he was coming back, so you could easily hold Savala for a week or two. He's going to still make a little bit more money. Do we trust him as a play this week? Maybe not. Not as much as it was last week, but I think he'll still be fine as a hold for now. Munster, likely to miss this week. If you like him as a bit of a point of difference play, then I understand it. He's generally been pretty good since round 10. Before that was a bit average, 72, 76, 32, 50, 42, 52. Hasn't scored any tries in that time since the round 10 clash. And only has the 4 try assists in the last, since round 11. So, yeah, there's definitely room for him to improve. But again, in half, there's a lot of guys there. Is he someone you want or expect to be, someone slightly under 50 in his average? Is that something you want to keep in your side if he doesn't play this week? Or do you move him on to another gun? Isaiah Katoa, the like there. Jackie Whiten, he scored okay the last few weeks, 33, 55, and 30. He, at that price point, I suppose the good thing is he's in the side and is still playing. So at 429, you don't have to sell, but he's someone that a few people have moved on from. And they were hoping that he was going to score a bit better. He has the odd good game, but he's also, it's Jack if he's not playing 5/8 all the time, which is why people decided to buy him when he moved to that spot. But the last 2 times he's played 5/8, he's got 33 and 30. So it's not the same as last year. And we know that with Latrell on the side, he does a lot of the general kicking and all that type of stuff. And then to finish it off with Thomas Jenkins at 570k there. Priced at 42 now. And yes, he's been very, very good. You can see there are a lot of mid-30s games. He had the 28, the 46. He had the 96 clearly in there. But I think he's going to have more 30s and low 40s than what the big games are going to be. And at 570k, he's a very easy upgrade target. You look at Dylan Edwards, who's in the same price bracket as Jenkins. That's pretty crazy to me that that's the case. So I think that Jenkins is a guy that you could easily sell, and he's done a great job. Just take it as that. So that's the holds and the sell, guys. We'll leave that one for you there. I haven't felt great today, so we might leave this just as the one video. We'll see how we go. We'll have go through a couple of teams for the private crew, and then get my trades video out tomorrow. So thankfully we've got some time. Hope all you Queenslanders enjoyed Origin. I really just enjoyed the quality of football, just the craziness of that one that Crichton kicked in behind and no one was chasing, that kind of stuff. It just doesn't happen. Knowing for all these years what it's like on the other side, the Queensland wall would have been there, and we just don't have that. It's frustrating, but congrats to the Queenslanders. They played awesome last night, and it was great viewing. So we'll leave it there, guys. Thanks so much. We'll see you in the next one.